What's up, everybody? This is Jason, a zombie collector, and I was in Jeffersonville, Indiana this past week for Memorial Day weekend, visiting the family, visiting my best bud and his wife and their children, seeing my extended family. It was just awesome. Great time. It was just what the doctor ordered. I was there from Friday through today, which is Tuesday. Got back in this morning here on Tuesday, well, now it's Tuesday evening, but got back on Tuesday morning. I was so thrilled and so rejuvenated. I even worked today when I took the day off officially. I had today off, and then I was like, you know what, boss? I'll come in and do the company a solid and work today, a full day. And he was like, really? Okay, well, yes, come on in. So anyways, I want to talk a little bit about the trip. I got to hang out with Mark from Kentucky. If you watched that video on his channel, Mark from Kentucky, I got to go see him. He lives outside of Louisville, a little, I think, south of Louisville, around Fort Knox. And it was a little bit of an adventure. I was the first YouTuber that he's ever had over to his house, which is surprising because he's pretty connected around the YouTube community, but I was the first one to ever go into his house. He has a beautiful house, beautiful family, a great guy, great hospitality. I mean, him and I would be in trouble if we lived close together because he's into wrestling, he's into movies, he's into music, he's into video games, he's into ball cards, he's into watching sports. I mean, the dude is this, like, he's like not a look, but a doppelganger of all things I'm into. So Mark and I hung out. He did a live stream. We opened up, and I'm gonna do that video probably today or tomorrow, kind of showing exactly what I received or what I got from those boxes. But we had a good time. We had probably about 7-8 people pop in because it was like middle of the day on a Sunday afternoon. So it's probably not the ideal time for a live stream, but it was some good interaction. And so I'll do that video. But again, I want to say thank you to Mark from Kentucky, 2 Hall of Famers in that video. So that's pretty good. That's the most bang for your buck you might get on YouTube until the National, not to be confused with the Nationals. So my buddy, his son, knows that I'm big into physical media, into like just movies and horror, as I like to say, horror movies, and just all kinds of like, just kind of hard to find obscure stuff, kind of like that Goodwill antique thing. There was opened up, the guy in the town he lives in opened up a new kind of toy shop, but had physical media, comic books, Blu-rays, autographs, toys, the whole 9 yards. So I go in there. The guy's name's Jason. Him and I are about the same age. We hit it off. And another guy that comes in, and he has a cool shirt from a Christian hardcore band from like the 90s named Living Sacrifice. And him and I walk up and like, hey, dude, that's an awesome shirt. He was like, you know this band? I'm like, yeah, Living Sacrifice. Great band. I listened to them throughout the 90s. And he's like, are you serious? Also, his name was Jason. So we had the 3 J's. The J trifecta in the store hanging out. So I want to show you what I picked up at the store. Some of this stuff you might not care about all that much, but I think it's some fun stuff for your butt, as Pepino Man would say. 2 sealed Blu-rays. I picked up Godzilla King of the Monsters for, I believe, and remember this is a local independent shop, so I was willing to spend a little bit extra money to help them out. This was still never open for $10. Normally, I would never spend that kind of money on a Blu-ray, but I want to help him out. He's a friend. He's a friend of my son, my best buddy's son. So I'm trying to do a solid for this guy, buy some of his stuff. So I got this right here, Godzilla, and then I picked up a couple. What incense or car. What do you call these things? Can I believe it? Anyways, there you go. We got car for the smell of your car. This one is a cinnamon, I believe. Cinnamon, but air freshener. Gosh, sometimes I have so many languages in my head, I forget the language I'm speaking, like what things mean. Air freshener. So this is from the Misfits right there. Trick or Treat Studios. So, designed in the U.S., made in China. Oh, jeez. So, anyways, this was cool. It was a cool cinnamon smell. Now, this one was super cool. Now, of course, you buy some just for the image, not necessarily for the smell or whatever, just because it's a cool design. So So this was They Live, and this is Bubblegum. If you know, you know. But there you have one of the aliens there from They Live. That smells pretty good. It does smell like bubblegum. I'm fresh out of bubblegum, everybody, so you know what that means. And so there you go. We got the alien. I don't know, they don't call it anything specific. I guess it's just the alien from They Live. So those were $5 a piece. This was also, I believe, $10. Yeah. And again, I had the DVD, but the part 2 is being filmed right now, and I'm super thrilled. It has pretty much the original cast, I think, except the main couple. And you'll know the reason why they're probably not in here in a second. But I'm excited because they're introducing Johnny Depp to the story. And I'm a big Johnny Depp fan, so you're going to have Michael Keaton, you're going to have Winona Ryder, and you're going to have Tim Burton behind the camera for Beetlejuice. So there you go. I had the DVD, but this is the Blu-ray. It has a couple of different special features on here. Again, sealed. I was super pumped. I wanted to pick this up because I am thrilled and amazed to see part 2. They've been talking about that for the better part of, I don't know, 10 years, it feels like at this point. Next up is a Junkyard Dog right here. Junkyard Dog from 1984, LJN. I used to have one of these back in the day. I don't know what happened to it. My mom and dad bought it for me for my birthday or Christmas. But I love JYD. He was one of my favorite wrestlers. He ended up, he was always a good guy. He would team with Hulk Hogan. He would team with Andre the Giant, which you're going to see that's going to play into this video here in a moment. But JYD was awesome. He would get down. He had a big old dog collar, had the collar and the big chain. He'd walk up to the ring, and he had this little dance he would do. Like he'd hold the ropes and kind of just like do this dance he would do, kind of like this break dance style with his knees. And everybody, white, black, whatever, white, black, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, whatever you are, if you know where that came from, would lose their minds when JYD he crossed his cultural barriers. The only thing that sucks is that he passed too soon. I believe he passed away in a car accident. I want to say in Alabama, maybe the area where he's from. But anyways, when I saw this was $15, I had to have it. These go online for between 20 to 30 or 40 in a similar condition, and then that's not including shipping. Some of them can go for 10 or 15, but there's usually a $10 shipping. This was 15. Normally, you're going to pay $20 or more, including shipping. This was a heck of a deal, so I will do this deal all day long, but there you have it, JYD. I will be displaying that here shortly. Not that I meant that to rhyme. Next up, I have seen these online, and again, these are super heavy and very hard to come by. They're usually between, again, $20 to $30. Sometimes with shipping, it could go to $50. Sometimes you can buy them for $10 to $15, but with a $10 or more shipping, they're at $25, $30 plus dollars, and then you have to worry about it breaking to get to you. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to buy it instead. This is from 1985, and I've wanted one of these my entire life. I may have had one when I was a kid. I do not remember, but I am thrilled to own it. I bought it for 25 American dollars at the same shop. And this is this gigantic glass stein root beer mug, whatever you want to call it, of Andre the Giant. Look at that bad boy. From 1985, Titan Sports, which was Vince McMahon's other company that he owned, that he kind of kept the WWF banner under. Oh my gosh, it is so amazing. I have to read this. Andre the Giant is one of the most popular athletes in the world. He is the biggest man in wrestling. Though a native of Grenoble, France, Andre speaks perfect English, and he is comically ultra deep voice. Loved by young and old alike, Andre the Giant is very humble in spite of his strength. He always wrestles against bad guys, sometimes outnumbered as 2 or even 3 team up against him. Well, of course, a lot of things change. He obviously turns into a bad guy later on in his career. It kind of ends as a bad guy, quite frankly. And I would not say he speaks perfect English. I mean, he does speak English, for sure. Maybe it is perfect, but he's, again, one of those wrestlers who never talked a whole lot and did all his talking in the ring. But when he did speak English, it was usually pretty spot on. So maybe it is what it is. I don't really feel like Andre the Giant was a talker, but man, this glass is gigantic. I mean, it is huge, and I was so scared bringing this back from Clarksville, Indiana, Southern Indiana, to my house because I just was like, all I was gonna take is one time he's slamming on the brakes or somebody cuts me off or whatever. Either I had it wrapped up in some clothes and trying to keep it safe, it would fall and snap. So I will be holding and cherishing this. And yes, I will use it probably. I will probably put some lime water in here, some water, put some lime in it, some freshly squeezed lime, and drink out of it. And last but not least, my dad, as I told most of you all in the past, my dad is a hoarder of all kinds of sports memorabilia and cards and autographs and bats and balls and just cards and 8x10s and everything. So my son goes and says, hey, do you have any cool stuff in the basement? And my son showed zero interest in all the years I've been taking him over to my parents' house. And my dad and I would go down in his basement and go through, which is like going through like the tunnels of France or on some kind of beach in World War II. It's very difficult to navigate my dad's basement. But we go down there and my son never wanted to go. He was like, nope, I don't want to. It's too scary. It's just too cluttered, essentially. And then all of a sudden, this past weekend, he was like, I want to go down there. And I was like, you ain't going down there by yourself. So I go down there with him, and it was like a treasure trove, as usual, of things. He wanted to bring up like a whole arm full of stuff. And my dad's such a great guy. I knew that if he would have came up with 15 items, he would have been like, you just go ahead and have them. And that's just the kind of guy my dad is. I mean, that's a lot of grandpas, let's be honest. But my dad was this amazing guy. He would have gave him all that stuff he's bought or worked really hard to obtain, just gave it to my son. And, and he would appreciate it, he would like it, but it would just probably end up in the corner somewhere in his room because it was just too much stuff. But there was one item I said, you pick one thing you really want and we'll keep it and we'll put it in a cube and we'll hold on to it. So he picked an authenticated autographed baseball off of, I believe this is Gene Bundy. So this is a vintage baseball from the American League. And there's there's 4 autographs on here, I believe. I'll show you this one. I don't know where this one, I can't tell. If you all know who that is, let me know. It looks like I think it could be Don Larson. But there's Don Larson, I think. And then this right here, I believe it says Johnny Van Meter on this. And then he has 2 big boys. Then there's a Nolan Ryan that's kind of faded, but you can tell that's a Nolan Ryan autograph on there. But right underneath it is the Bob Feller autograph. Bob Feller. So you got Nolan Ryan and Bob Feller like right there. Nolan Ryan on the sweet spot there. Bob Feller on one of the panels on the side of the ball. I'm trying to not touch the autographs. I believe it's Don Larson. Again, you all can correct me if I'm wrong. And then Johnny Van Meter, I believe, is this one right here. Is that right? Oh, Johnny Vandermeer. Johnny Vandermeer, sorry. Johnny Vandermeer, I believe. So, pretty cool stuff. Again, show the Nolan Ryan faded, and then the Bob Feller. My dad just gave this to my son, and then here is the sticker there for it. So, guys, there is that. Very cool. Oops, now my finger's right on it. But there you guys go. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the baseball, all the items I picked up on my trip down to Southern Indiana. I'm really interested to hear what you all thought. But I just want to again say thank you to Mark from Kentucky. Of course, my parents, my extended family, my buddy and his wife and their kids letting us come in and hang out and spend time with them on Memorial Day weekend. It was a fantastic time. My son was kind of on the fence of even going down. He was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to go down there, Dad. And then at the last minute, he was like, you know what, I'll go. And he told me today he was so glad he went. So, if you have a 14-year-old son who tells you that he was happy to go and it was a great trip, then you did a good job as a parent. So, till next time, guys, thank you for watching and peace.